Namaste, I am Bansuri Bliss Founder Dr. Kerry Kriger. Welcome to the Saturday, December 24th, 2022 Bansuri Bliss Members Lesson, Beginner's Lesson. And what I did over the past hour was write up some Shivaranjani, a page worth of Shivaranjani exercises. The goal being that you will be able to play the scale up, the Arohi, and the scale down, the Avarohi, ascending and descending scales of Shivaranjani smoothly, cleanly with the Gamak on every single note. So basically, what each exercise does is build up to the whole scale. We're going to just start out sa, re, sa, or sa, re, sa, and then we're going to add a note and keep taking it higher until we get all the way up a full octave and descend. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Okay, Shivaranjani scale with Gamaks. I've got 4 quadrants. Let's start over here in the top left quadrant. I'll tell you what these are. First off, the first thing to practice, it's not written here, but do this top left quadrant with no ornaments at all, just so that you can play the main notes and get a basic feel for what's going on. If you cannot play any line, then as usual, play the line over and over and over until you can play that line. Once you can play each of the lines, then you should just string them together, okay, within each quadrant. So let's just go ahead and do that. Let me play the top left quadrant with no ornaments, and then we'll be able to hear what's going on, and then I'll explain the difference in the 4 quadrants, which I also have written out. I'm going to turn on my tambura and put this at F plus 16 cents. That's where it is currently. Turn on a bit of Swarmandal, but not until I make sure it's set to the correct Raga. All right, that was top left quadrant. Because each line ends with sa and each line begins with sa, on all but the very first line, I'm going to tongue the sa that begins the line because we have 2 saws in a row. And as I said, we're not playing them with Gamak yet. All right, but really, that's not what this whole thing is about. So let's just move on to playing them with the Gamak. So let's start right here. Re, sa, ga, re, ga, sa. What I could do is just zoom in. We want to avoid hitting unwanted notes, okay? Don't play re, sa, re, ga, re, sa. Re, sa. From sa, we have to come straight up to the ga. Re, sa, ga, re. Not re, sa, re, ga, re. Common mistake beginners make playing ornaments. All right, so make sure you can get that line. Move on to the next line. So now we're going to go up 1 note higher. Now, pause the ornamental note. I don't need to lift my top finger up to play that paw, because pause is just the ornamental note, right? So I'm just keeping, these fingers are down. This is staying down the whole time right here, that index finger. All right, let's move on to the next one. Third line. We're going to come all the way up to the paw, ornamenting it with a da. Come to the fourth line. We're going to come up to the da, ornamented with a high saw. And on to the final line. All right, you should be able to play it without ornaments. You should be able to play it with ornaments while looking at the page. That's probably how you should start out. So actually sight reading each note as you go, and then you should be able to play it without looking at the page. All in one breath, consciously, continuously breathing outwards. All right, I'm not breaking in the middle of a line. If I play it start to finish, maybe I'll have to breathe, and I'll probably do that at the end of one of the lines, between the lines, but I'm not going to break in the middle of the line. Okay, certainly not if I'm just playing one line by itself. Deep breath. All right, I switched into my natural mode of playing, which is the bottom half of the page, which is an imperceptible Tiverma ornament, and then I decided to switch back, and that's what messed me up. Let me stick with the paw ornaments as written. We'll get to the Tiverma ornaments, imperceptible Tiverma ornaments later. Tried to get it all out in one breath. And that final time I tried to sight read it, because I noticed I was switching back to my natural way of playing, which is with the imperceptible Tivermas. That was all out in one breath. Not necessary to do it all in one breath. If you're going slow, then you'll almost certainly need to breathe somewhere. If you're going fast, then you may not. All right, that time I did it slow, and I breathed after every line. That's fine. Probably at the start, that's going to be the easiest way to do it. If you're trying to string them all together and play each line just once and move on, go ahead, take a breath. One less thing you have to worry about, because the goal of this is not necessarily to be able to play it all over again. Let's go back to the goal. The goal is in the name. Okay, the name of the lesson is Scale with Gamaks. All right, the goal is to get us to the bottom line, to be able to play that. In reality, to be able to play the bottom of the right half of the page was my original goal. When we have a saw at the top, like we would in an arohi, and a saw at the top, like in an arohi, okay, in an avarohi, okay? We play sa re ga pa da sa da pa ga re sa, okay? Here, there's just one saw at the top. So I had actually originally written it out, the right half of the page. Let's move over to the right half of the page. We'll see that the left half up top, highest note once, paw ornaments. Now we're going to do the highest note twice with paw ornaments. Okay? Instead of sa re sa re sa. Instead of sa re ga re sa ga re sa. It's like a first half and a second half. I thought to put a comma in there perhaps, but decided against it because I know that commas tend to confuse people and I don't want people stopping or anything like that. Just what I want is a visual marker so that you know that's the going up part, sa re. The coming down part, re sa. Sa re ga re sa. Sa re ga pa ga re sa. All right, third line. You shouldn't be using your tongue for any of these. You shouldn't be breathing in the middle of a line. You shouldn't be stopping your breath. You should not be hitting unwanted, unwritten notes. Okay? Everything should be coming out smooth, flowing in one breath, only the notes shown on the page. Let's move on to the fourth line here. Remember, there's a first half and a second half. Sa re ga pa da pa ga re sa. It does not have to be audible. You don't have to accent the start of the descent. You could play it a little bit louder than the other notes, but not necessary. Final line. All right, the entire goal of these exercises was that line right there. The final line of the top right quadrant. It's just an arohi and an avarohi all together, one breath, no tongue, gamak on every note, gamak from above on every note. So that was the highest note twice. Once to end the ascent and once to start the descent is really what it's intended to be. Paw ornaments. Let's zoom back out here. Okay, so we've done the top left quadrant, the top right quadrant, and now let's move down here. Bottom left quadrant. Highest note once. Imperceptible Tivrama ornaments. What's that mean? Is that allowable in Shivaranjani? Alright. To even write it is kind of weird. Alright, but I want it to be clear that that's what you're doing with your hands. Okay? But it should be very subtle. If you're going really slow, it's probably not going to work because the mind picks up on things when we're going slow and the duration of the note is long. It's when we're going fast that the mind can't really hear it. Okay, if it's subtle, if I'm just barely lifting. Why would I even do that? Why would I consider that? All right, re, sa, ga, re, pa, ga. From re to pa to ga, it's a lot of finger motion, right? Re, pa, ga. Wouldn't it be easier if I could just go like that? Look how little finger motion that is right there, okay? Re, ga, like that. Okay? Or ga, 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 ga versus paga, paga, paga. Look how much finger motion that is. Ah, ah. And the air has to change registers from coming out of the flute here to coming out of the flute here. And it may not do that smoothly. Okay? So there's a trade-off. You want a lot of difficult finger motion and unsmooth air connections? Or do you want little finger motion and smooth air connections where the pitch is compromised because it's not a paw coming out there, okay? And my guru, Pandit Vijay Raghav Rao, he actually taught me go like that when you do it, because what happens if I go like that, the flute rolls outwards, and when the flute rolls outwards, the pitch goes up enough to bring it to a paw. I'm not sure about that. That's a long way, okay? Just like if I want to come from a 7th hole Tivrama down to a Shidma, it's a big roll, okay? So I don't know if it does it, but it's a start. But then I'm adding in lots of motion here, so it's all a trade-off. You just have to practice it in your different ways. That's why we have a top half of the page with a paw, bottom half with Tivrama. You should be able to do it either way. Whatever comes out, whatever comes to your mind, it should be able to come out, and it should sound good either way, okay? Page right here, re, sa, ga, re, ga, sa, re, sa, ga, re, ma, ga, ma, re, ga, sa. It's all in the upper hand. Alright, not a lot of finger motion going on. You can ornament just gauze, ray gauze, okay? Just a slight lift. Doesn't even have to be like that. You're just trying to get the effect of the Gamak, okay? If I'm going real slow like that, usually I'm not going to play the imperceptible T for Ma, because it becomes harder to make it imperceptible when you're going so slow. And you have a lot more time to deal with the big finger changes of playing an actual paw ornament. Alright, so that was lines 1, 2, and 3. Now let's do line 4. Alright, coming up to a high point of Da, ornamented with a high Sa. Final line. All right. All right, so now we've done high note once with paw ornaments, high note twice with paw ornaments. We've done high note once with imperceptible T for Ma ornaments. Okay? Possible you'd want to go in this order. Maybe go top left to bottom left, and then top right to bottom right. Or it doesn't matter. Do whatever you want to do. Just practice them all. Let's go on to the bottom right quadrant. All right, highest note twice. We're going to use imperceptible T for Ma ornaments. All with the upper hand, okay? It helps if in your head you keep track of the ascending half and the descending half. Line 3. Line 4. final line. Recall again the name of the lesson, Scale with Ornaments. The whole point was to get you to here, bottom line, last line of the top right or bottom right quadrants, okay, which are just the scale up and then the scale down. Want to take a breath at the top? Fine, take a breath at the top. Alright, that time I went in reverse order from the bottom line to the top line. Alright, let's do it top to bottom all together. One, two, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If we do keep the ascent and the descent in our minds, that's how it'll go. All right, what do I mean by that? 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Just chopping each of these in half for their ascents and descents. All right. That's what I wrote up in the hour before this session. It looks like everything's written out correctly too. I didn't notice any mistakes. That came from this before I scribbled it out. Bhupali scale with Gamaks. Okay, that's what was written out. And then I decided to make it Shivaranjani. And when doing that, I thought, if we're going to do it to the highest note twice, it would be a little bit easier to do it highest note once to begin with. And then I thought, if I'm going to write out pause but play Tivramaz, then it would be kind of leaving something out if I didn't actually also explain that you can do it with the Tivramaz. Okay, which is probably how I do it more of the time.
Kerry, one question.
Yes.
In Shivaranjani, do we use both the gas or only just everything is Komal up and down?
Everything is Komal. Do I have anything written here that's not Komal?
No, not here, but just to understand on the Rag.
Yeah, it's all Komal. There is a Mishra Shivaranjani. Anything with Mishra in the name has, I won't say less rules, because they may have more rules and that you do things more ways, but we'll say occasionally sometimes Mishra does imply that, you can do things however you want to do it, or a little bit closer to that. But there is a Mishra Shivaranjani. I was never taught it. I'm assuming it has a Shuddh Ga as well, but I could be incorrect. And because I haven't listened to it in a long time and I haven't listened to it closely to try to decipher precisely what it is. There's also one, Kalaranjani maybe? It's on, if you find the Zakir Hussain Hariprasad Chaurasia recording live at Osho 1988 maybe. I think it's on that. And I think that one has Komal Ga and a Shuddh Ga, but it's not Shivaranjani. Shivaranjani is definitely just stick with the 5 notes. Komal Ga is the most important note. You can also convert these into Bhupali. Just use a Shuddh Ga. You can convert these into Bhupkali, which is Sa Re Ga Pa Komal Da Sa, also known as Bhupeshwari. And there's also Bu Pali Todi Sa Komal Re Komal Ga Pa Komal Da Sa. There's Vibas Sa Re Ga. Sa Komal Re Ga Pa Komal Da Sa. I believe for whatever reason, there's some recordings of. It's one of those kind of rare ragas with, what would we call it? We'll just say different ways that it's played between different gharanas, I guess, because sometimes it's Sa Komore Ga Pa Shidda Sa. But I was taught with Sa Komore Ga Pa Komal Da Sa. And there's probably others, just sticking with Sa Re Ga Pa Da Sa and changing what notes are Komal. Tomorrow we have the Bansuri Bliss Rhythm Fest happening. Anyone is invited, so if you know people, even if they're not members, who want to join, then you can send them to bansuribliss.com/rhythm-fest. They can register there. And we're going to have my tabla guru Shrikant Batlawande joining us. He was on a couple of years ago one time, and he will be sharing some rhythmic knowledge and probably playing some tabla as well. I'm not sure if he has plans to play. All right, I just made up a line. All the notes had Gamaks until I kicked into that first 5 beats of the Juptal composition, and then everything had a Gamak or some other type of ornament. Okay. Everyone try to show up tomorrow. We'll also be on the 31st and the 1st. We're going to have Bansuri Bliss Holiday Bash. What's going to happen? I don't know. If you have any ideas, any thoughts, let me know. Maybe I'll try to get some special guests on. And I will see you soon. Enjoy your holidays. Bye.